Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to a discussion on simple transposition for the alto saxophone. I have here a standard guitar tuner, and this tuner is calibrated to detect the note A in concert pitch, as being 440 hertz or 440 cycles per second. This tuner is calibrated to say, well, that's the note A. Now, internationally, since about the 1950s, the world has settled on 440 hertz as being what is called concert A. That's the note that the orchestra is tuned to and what is commonly seen now as standard tuning. Let's have a look at what that tuner detects the C. When I play C on the alto sax, that's third space C. Let's have a look and see what the tuner thinks I'm playing. Did you notice that the tuner detected the alto sax's third space C as being the note D sharp? The enharmonic equivalent of D sharp is E flat, and because there is no key called D sharp major, the alto sax is correctly known as the E flat alto sax. I've got here a concert flute, and the very name of this flute, concert flute, sets this flute as being the same pitch as the piano. The note that I just played on the alto sax is the equivalent of E flat above middle C on the piano, this note. Now that's low E flat on the flute, but in the written score it's E flat above middle C, the fourth C on the piano. So there's 88 keys on a piano. If we start at the left-hand side, the fourth C we run into sits at the midpoint of the piano keyboard, right where you sit in the middle of the piano. They call that note middle C. However, on instruments like the flute and the guitar, that middle C, which is written below the stave, we often refer to as low C. So, if when we're playing what we think is the note C for the rest of the world, but the piano and all of the concert pitch instruments hear that, the same as the guitar tuner heard it, as E flat, well, it simply means that we are playing what is called a major sixth higher than concert pitch instruments. Our C on the saxophone is in fact the sixth note in an E flat major scale on a concert pitch instrument. I'll play the first 6 notes of an E flat scale on the flute, remembering that the flute is identical pitch to the piano. E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. C is the 6th note in an E flat major scale. And that's the secret to getting transposition correct from concert pitch, from piano music or flute music, to the alto sax. If you have a look at the music score that I've got on the screen for you, you'll see 2 lines of music, just 4 bars of a very simple variation of the nursery rhyme, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The top line is concert pitch. Now, by concert pitch, that means any instrument that has a piano-like keyboard, so organs, synthesizers, electronic and acoustic pianos, any instrument that has strings, banjos, guitars, ukuleles, mandolins, any of the stringed instruments, a number of the wind instruments, the piccolo and concert flute and bass flute, and also the chromatic harmonica. So there's a wide range of instruments that fall into the category of concert pitch instruments. Some of those instruments, like the guitar, actually sound 1 octave lower than written. But for the purpose of today's tutorial, the top line correctly shows as being piano or flute music, because the flute and the piano are identically pitched with each other as they are written. So G above middle C on the flute is G above middle C on the piano. Let me play that top line for you now on the flute and just have a listen to the melody and watch the notes as they go. You'll notice it's in the key of G major. I'll now play the second line of the music score. This has been transposed for the alto saxophone. Have a listen to the notes and the pitch, the relative pitch of the notes compared to what I played on the flute, and you'll hear they're identical. It's just the timbre of the sound of a flute versus the sound of an alto saxophone that has changed. So now that we've heard that the transposition is correct, how do we actually do it? Well, the answer is quite simple. Remember we said that the alto sax sounds a major sixth higher than the piano. So in this case here on the music score, we're in the key of concert G major for the piano. It's got one sharp in it, it's in a major key. What would the sixth note be of a G major scale? So if we played that on the saxophone, we would have these 6 notes. G, A, B, C, D, E. E is the 6th note. So therefore, if the piano is in the key of G, the alto sax must be in the key of E major. It can't be in any other key. If the alto sax has to play a major sixth higher than the piano, well, that also relates to key signatures, not just note names. So the second line of music has correctly been transposed into the key of E major, the key that has 4 sharps. Now remember, the alto sax has to play higher than the piano on the music score. It'll sound the same pitch, but second line G is equal to 4th space E on the alto sax. First step is work out what key the alto sax has to play in. Well, that's the 6th note of the major scale of the key that the piano's playing in. Next step, simply drop the note from the original music score down a line or down a space. By that I mean the first note on the piano score was G, second line G, that's on a line. Drop it down a line, which would put it on first line, which is E, and then take it up an octave. And there you get the correct octave relationship for the alto sax and the piano. So just get your mind around that. If the note is on a line like G, the first note, you drop it down one line, in that case it would be E, but the alto sax has to play it up one octave. Hence it's correctly transposed on the second line to be 4th space E. If we look at the second bar of the piano music, the E is in a space. So we have to drop the E down into the next space down. So E would drop down to C. It goes up an octave, but the key signature of E major has correctly placed that E as being transposed to C sharp, not C. Now think about the 6th note of an E scale. I'll play the 6 notes of an E scale starting on 4th space E on the alto sax. So those notes would be E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. Bingo. E has to be C sharp, not C. But you don't have to worry about that because the key signature looks after that transposition for you. It's simply a matter of taking line to line and up an octave and space to space and up an octave. Now the third last note in the melody I've deliberately put in an accidental. An accidental is simply a sharp, flat or natural that doesn't form part of the key signature. So B flat is not a standard note in the key of G major, hence that's an accidental. The same rule applies. B flat on the third line drops down to G flat, drops down a line and it would be G flat. Then we have to take G flat up an octave. But the key signature for the alto sax says that, well, hang on, every G has to be a G sharp. So we end up with the situation of G sharp and G flat cancelling each other out, and the third last note that the alto sax has to play is correctly transposed as being G natural. And if we want to apply the long way around to find that, let's look at the notes of a B flat major scale. The first 6 notes of a B flat major scale would be this. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, G natural. So whether you transpose the long way around of taking each note up a major 6th from the piano, or what I recommend is the shortcut, line for line, up an octave, space for space, up an octave, and let the accidentals and the key signature take care of themselves. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial and perhaps learnt something new from it. The rules for transposing piano score music correctly into the alto sax key and octave are very simple and very straightforward. They cover the key signature, the correct note assignments, and how to deal with accidentals. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you're interested in one-to-one personalised Skype lessons, contact me via the contact details on my website. Bye for now.